Welcome to the Back to Your Roots Herbs podcast, where we explore the powerful connection between nature and our health. I'm your host, Robin, and today we're talking about a topic that's on many minds: natural alternatives to popular weight management drugs like Ozempic. So, you've probably heard the buzz about semaglutide, sold as Ozempic or Wegovy. It's a powerful medication, no doubt. It works by mimicking a gut hormone called GLP-1, which is a master regulator of our metabolism. It tells your pancreas to release insulin when your blood sugar is high. It slows down how fast your stomach empties, making you feel fuller, longer, and it even works on your brain to reduce hunger and cravings. The results can be significant, but it's a pharmaceutical intervention, and that's not the right path for everyone. Whether it's due to side effects, cost, or simply a preference for a more natural approach, many people are asking, is there anything from the plant world that can offer similar benefits? That's a fantastic question, and the answer is complex and fascinating. The truth is, there is no single plant that is a natural Ozempic. That's a marketing term, not a scientific one. The power of semaglutide comes from its potent multi-system effect. However, nature offers a rich toolkit of botanicals that can support the very same pathways that Ozempic targets. Instead of one magic bullet, think of it as a team of specialists, each addressing a different piece of the metabolic puzzle. Let's start with one of the most researched and talked about herbs in this space: berberine. If you've heard of nature's Ozempic, you've likely heard of berberine. This bioactive compound is found in several plants like barberry and golden seal. Now, the comparison to Ozempic is a bit of a misnomer because its primary mechanism is actually much closer to another well-known diabetes drug, Metformin. Berberine is a powerhouse at activating something called AMPK, which is like a master switch for your metabolism. Activating AMPK helps your cells take up more glucose from your blood, which improves insulin sensitivity. This is huge for blood sugar control. But here's where it gets interesting and connects to the GLP-1 story. Berberine does more than just activate AMPK. Research shows it can also indirectly increase GLP-1 secretion. It seems to do this by modulating our gut microbiota, which in turn encourages the production of compounds that stimulate our intestinal L cells, the very cells that release GLP-1. And it doesn't stop there. Berberine also acts as a mild DPP-IV inhibitor. Now, what on earth is that? Well, DPP-IV is an enzyme that breaks down our natural GLP-1 very quickly. We're talking a half-life of just a couple of minutes. By inhibiting this enzyme, berberine allows the GLP-1 your body already produced to stick around and work its magic for longer. So, with berberine, you're getting this triple action effect: improved insulin sensitivity through AMPK, a boost in GLP-1 release, and an extension of GLP-1's lifespan. Clinically, this translates to robust improvements in glycemic control and modest but significant weight loss. We're talking about a few kilograms, not the dramatic results of the pharmaceutical, but a meaningful step in the right direction for many. Imagine finally seeing the numbers on the scale move after being stuck for months, simply by adding this plant ally to your routine. That's the kind of encouraging progress that can build momentum for lasting change. Now, let's talk about a different strategy: directly mimicking one of Ozempic's key effects, slowing down digestion. This is where soluble fibers like psyllium husk and glucomannan come into play. These aren't pharmacological, they're mechanical. When you consume these fibers with water, they transform into a thick, gelatinous mass in your stomach. Think of it as a natural ileal brake. This gel physically slows down how quickly your stomach empties its contents into the small intestine. Why is this important? First, it blunts the glycemic spike after a meal. The glucose from the carbohydrates you ate is absorbed much more slowly, preventing that roller coaster of blood sugar highs and lows. If you're someone who feels sleepy and sluggish after lunch, this can be a game changer for your afternoon productivity. Second, and perhaps more importantly for weight management, it prolongs the feeling of fullness. You feel satisfied for longer, which naturally leads to eating less. This is a simple physical mechanism that directly mimics one of Ozempic's most celebrated effects. However, there's a crucial detail with soluble fiber. Timing is everything. To be effective for weight loss, you need to take it before a meal, not with it or after. The goal is to induce satiety to displace calories from the upcoming meal. Taking it with your food just adds bulk. A 2022 meta-analysis that specifically looked at studies where psyllium was taken before meals found it was effective for decreasing body weight, BMI, and waist circumference. It's a simple tweak that makes all the difference. Next up, let's journey into the world of Ayurveda with an herb nicknamed the sugar destroyer, Gymnema Sylvestre. This is a fascinating plant with a unique dual action. Its first trick is sensory. The active compounds, gymnemic acids, have a molecular structure so similar to glucose that they can bind to the sweet taste receptors on your tongue. When they do this, they physically block sugar molecules from binding, which temporarily reduces the perception of sweetness. Imagine taking a bite of your favorite chocolate cake and finding it bland. This can be a powerful tool for behavior modification, helping to curb those intense sugar cravings. But the magic of Gymnema goes far beyond your taste buds. It also works systemically. Like berberine, it has been shown to be a DPP-IV inhibitor, helping to preserve your body's natural GLP-1. But animal studies suggest it may also enhance GLP-1 production directly by increasing the expression of the proglucagon gene in the gut. Proglucagon is the precursor to GLP-1, so you're essentially boosting the raw materials for its creation. This dual mechanism, the acute psychological effect on cravings and the chronic physiological effect on your metabolism, makes Gymnema a truly holistic approach to blood sugar and weight management. Now, what if we could amplify the power of the GLP-1 our body already makes? This brings us to some really cutting-edge research and a compound from Fenugreek called N55. Most people know Fenugreek as a fiber-rich seed that helps with satiety, but deep within the seed is a novel compound that works in a completely different way. It's not a GLP-1 agonist, it's not a secretagogue, and it's not a DPP-IV inhibitor. It is a positive allosteric modulator, or PAM. That sounds complicated, but the concept is beautifully simple. N55 acts as a potency multiplier. It binds directly to the GLP-1 hormone peptide itself, changing its shape slightly and enhancing its ability to activate its receptor. A 2015 study found that the binding of N55 enhanced the potency of the body's native GLP-1 by more than 40-fold. This is a paradigm shift. Instead of mimicking a hormone, you are amplifying the effect of your own natural hormone. It's a much more elegant and sophisticated approach. This discovery opens up a whole new avenue for natural products, finding compounds that help our body's own systems work better. Let's switch gears and talk about a candidate that shows strong promise for weight loss, but through a completely different mechanism than we've been discussing: curcumin. Curcumin, the active compound in turmeric, is famous for its anti-inflammatory properties, but it also interacts with the incretin system in two ways. It stimulates L cells to release more GLP-1, and it's a known DPP-IV inhibitor. This combination makes it a strong contender. And the human data backs this up. Multiple meta-analyses have shown that curcumin supplementation is strongly correlated with significant reductions in BMI, total body weight, and waist circumference. This is one of the few herbs where the weight loss signal is consistently strong in human trials. However, its efficacy comes with a note of caution. Curcumin has a documented risk of hepatotoxicity or liver injury in some individuals, and it has significant drug interaction potential. This doesn't mean it's off limits, but it underscores the importance of working with a knowledgeable practitioner and respecting the power of these plants. Now let's talk about a fascinating paradox found in a compound called Crocin, which is the active component in saffron and gardenia fruit. Initially, computational models predicted that Crocin would be a direct GLP-1 receptor agonist. But when it was tested in a human clinical trial, something strange happened. The participants experienced a significant decrease in body fat, BMI, and leptin, but their plasma GLP-1 levels actually decreased. What was going on? This is a perfect example of how the body seeks balance. The human trial revealed that Crocin's true mechanisms are not GLP-1 based at all. First, it has a powerful central effect on appetite suppression. Human trials with saffron show it significantly decreases appetite and reduces snacking, suggesting it works on the hypothalamus, the brain's appetite control center. Second, in vivo studies show that Crocin inhibits pancreatic lipase. This enzyme is responsible for breaking down dietary fat for absorption. By inhibiting it, Crocin blocks the absorption of fat, which then gets excreted. So, the herb was so effective at improving metabolic health through these other pathways that the body downregulated its own compensatory GLP-1 secretion. It's a natural Orlistat, not a natural Ozempic. This is a critical lesson. A plant can lead to a desired outcome, like weight loss, through a completely unexpected route. Finally, I want to touch on the future of this research, which is moving beyond just finding plant-based mimics. The true frontier is in novel pathway discovery, exemplified by a recently identified human peptide called BRP. Using artificial intelligence, scientists scanned the human body's own proteins and discovered this new peptide hormone. In preclinical models, BRP has shown remarkable efficacy. It reduces food intake by up to 50% and leads to significant weight loss, primarily from fat. Here's the revolutionary part. It appears to decouple efficacy from side effects. Semaglutide works on GLP-1 receptors in both the brain, for satiety, and the gut, which can cause nausea. BRP seems to work only on the brain's appetite center. The treated animals showed no signs of nausea, food aversion, or other common side effects. And critically, they lost fat without a significant loss of lean muscle mass, a major drawback of rapid weight loss with semaglutide. While BRP is a human molecule, not a plant, it represents the future of natural alternatives, discovering and utilizing the body's own sophisticated systems to restore balance. So as we wrap up, it's clear that while there's no single natural Ozempic, nature provides an incredible array of tools that support metabolic health through various, often overlapping mechanisms. From Berberine's multi-pronged attack on blood sugar, to the simple mechanical action of soluble fibers, the craving control of Gymnema, and the potency multiplying effects of compounds like N55 from Fenugreek. Each of these offers a piece of the puzzle. The art lies in understanding these mechanisms and combining them thoughtfully to create a synergistic effect that supports your individual health goals. It's about empowering your body's own systems, not just overriding them. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of nature's metabolic toolkit. This is a vast and exciting field, and we've only scratched the surface today. To learn more, please visit us at backtoyourrootsherbs.com. The direct link for information on natural Ozempic alternatives is in the description below.